Hey everyone, I am Yvette Boyd, host of Life Her Podcast. And as y'all know, we are sponsored by Havana Lounge. But I have something real special today because we actually sitting with the owner today. And it is like really dope for him to be here.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes. say what's up to Dolapo, y'all.
What's going on?
Yes. So I'm really excited to talk to you because I want to know more about your background than actually what you're doing now, because a lot of times people don't know where you come from and how hard you worked to get where you at today.
Yeah. I'm Nigerian, so my name is Dolapo Erinkitola. It's a mouthful, but Nigerian, the Yoruba tribe. Both parents came over here, and I grew up in the Midwest, Chicago, and we were always, hustling, doing the business.
Right.
I've got 9 siblings, so it was always a bunch of kids, and we were always just, competing with one another, like healthy competition, right?
Right.
And and then the Nigerian, mentality, the African mentality is just, to work, And I live in Atlanta now. I came out here, I went to Morehouse, and that's what brought me to Atlanta, and I've been out there ever since.
Okay. So what creates the drive that you have to just keep going and being so passionate about a lot of things you do? Because what I've noticed, you are passionate. And you take what you do serious.
Yeah, man, because man, I tell you, this life is so different, right? I saw something on Instagram the other day, and it's the brother that's the scientist that's really, really smart. I forget his name, forgive me, but he was saying more people haven't lived than will live.
That's true.
And I couldn't understand what he was saying, and he explained it. He said in the mating process, you've got millions and millions of sperm trying to court with one egg, right? So for you to actually be here through that process, you're here, but all those other millions of potential lives, they'll never see the earth. So we have to take this time and really be special and do the best we can while we're here, because it's not a mistake that we're here. And there's a reason that we're here, because the odds were against us. So when he put it like that, I'm like, man, shoot, what else?
Yeah.
What else can we do, right?
Yes, that is true. It's crazy the way you put that is, I've always lived, but I started living more after I lost my mother and my husband. And it created me to develop a different type of mindset and a different type of discernment when it comes to people. It's more quiet and more observant.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wanting to feel a person in a spiritual realm instead of actually just talking to them and stuff. So you can hear more when you listen and pay attention.
Exactly.
And I know that you're like that.
Yeah, and but it also gives you confidence.
It does.
Especially when you lose someone close to you. I lost and I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I lost my younger sister. She was out in Dallas many years ago, and she got robbed.
Wow.
And they shot her. And this is my younger sister, and it was so brutal, the attack. And every time I get nervous or I think about, something that's kind of shaking me, I'm thinking, my little sister went through something that I can't even imagine. So there's not anything on this planet that I should be worried about that should shake me, right? Because that was the ultimate. So, I use sometimes those tragedies or missing a loved one to kind of fuel your purpose.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, they're still watching you, they're still pushing, And if any scenario, if you think about it, can be positive. And I try to make sure that loss doesn't define my life, right? She wouldn't want me to be stuck there, but it will push me to get some other stuff done. And I'm telling you, when something shakes me, I think about her and I'm like, she went through it. There's nothing I can't do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, that is so true. Because my mom was supposed to start this podcast with me.
See?
And so the way it grew so fast in these past, it'll be almost 3 years, it just grew so rapidly, and I know she has something to do with it. And just by me just creating it to be so authentic, and I know what you mean as far as that push of someone so close to you and just wanting you to thrive.
Yeah, it's fuel, man. And trust me, your mom is moving levers and,
Oh, yeah,
and
she
making
is.
stuff happen. Man. That's a beautiful thing.
She definitely is. She got me busy.
That's what's up.
For sure. So once you moved to Atlanta, Georgia, went to Morehouse and everything, when did you actually start getting into becoming a business owner and involved in film and everything?
You know, I started being a business owner when I back in Chicago as a kid.
Okay.
I had, and I'm gonna date myself. I had a paper route.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you this story. It's a funny story. So I go over. You know, there's a lot of us, so we had to share everything. Like we had board games, but it was everybody's. We had this game, it was everybody's. But you know, share with my 9 siblings. So I went over a friend's house. He was, you know, a mainstream white dude, and he had all the toys you can imagine, like all of them. And I'd go over there and I'd play. And one time I said, "How do you have all these toys?" And he said, "Well, I got a paper route." He said, "So I take my money and my mom lets me buy whatever I want." I said, "Oh, a paper route." So, so when he was moving from the neighborhood, he gave me his paper route.
Okay.
I actually got another paper route. I ended up having like 3 paper routes.
Did you?
And this is the crazy part. In Chicago, it gets so cold, and I hate the cold, right? So I hired people to do the paper routes. And I was sitting at home.
How old were you?
I was like 11.
That's crazy.
So I was sitting at home and I had everybody running the paper routes. I paid them good. I paid them, but, you know, and, you know, I had to get up in the morning and roll up the papers, but I had a team that was taking it out. So that was my first step into being an entrepreneur. And my dad kind of, you know, he was calling me lazy. He was like, "Son, you got all these paper routes, you still in the bed?" I said, "Dad, I got it. It's done. I got it." So now fast forward coming to Atlanta. Just Atlanta is the city of hustle.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot be surprised by what the next person is doing because somebody is doing something in the A. And for me, I had to get that in my head that they look like me.
Yeah.
Like in Chicago, they might not look like me,
that's
but
true.
in Atlanta, they look like me and they're doing it. So I had to learn really quick that, you know, I got to get my game up and surround myself, you know, with the right people. So I try to, like you, put myself in a role with people that are a lot smarter than me, and you know, things just started working themselves out. My parlay into film came into, you know, I was engaged to a famous actress that's doing very well, and just helping her. You know, I started really understanding the film business, and then it parlayed into me just doing, you know, some other things myself.
Wow. So what do you like the most? Just like doing the film production, or actually just managing your lounges and dipping in other things?
I think all of it.
Really?
I like doing all of it because
Good.
it keeps you grinding. Like if it's exhausting, but you know, if you read those self-help books, they'll tell you that you're supposed to have 7 different income streams in order to be truly successful.
Yes, that's true.
If one goes bust, the other one will help. So restaurants is one way to do it, but if you're smart about it, you can have some overlay. So for example, I have restaurants, and in the restaurants, I have opportunities for live music, stages, and things like that. So I have also manage some artists. So I let my artists come and perform at the restaurant so that they can get exposure, and you know, they can hone their craft. And then when they hone their craft, I take them and some of the music that they do, I put it into films. So if you look at it the right way, there's always a way to kind of make sure that they're all connected together.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of people, when they say 7 streams of income, a lot of times people doing 7 different things that's not relatable at all. And when everything is coming together and relatable, you'll find yourself seeing the, you know, your money start to generate into many forms, and you're like, man, I could add this, and this, and it just becomes something just so amazing.
It's a beautiful thing but you have to think outside of the box, right? So
You do.
You think restaurants, and you don't think it can relate to the film industry. But guess what? When you have a restaurant, there's always a wrap party. There's a premiere party, right?
Yeah.
There is special meetings or table reads. If you look at it the right way, you can always find that overlap. And regardless of, you know, the vertical that you put yourself in, you just got to think outside of the box.
Yeah, you definitely do. So, with you being a business owner, and I'm a business owner myself, when do you find out your me time? Like time for you to take out from everything that you're doing? Because sometimes it can become overwhelming.
It can. That's a really, you know, that's a tough question because you're always working, right? The businesses that I see that do well are owners who are present. It's like being a parent. 99% of the job is just being there. You just gotta be in the fold. You gotta be in the house. And it's the same with the business. So you have to be there. So the more you take away from being there, the more you leave exposure for the business. But to your point, in order for you to survive and sustain, you gotta have the me time.
Yes, you do.
So I give myself an out. So I work towards that out, meaning I say I'm going to be in the restaurant business for 10 years. I'm going to be in the film industry for 12, 15 years. And so at least in my mind, I'm thinking there's a light at the end of the tunnel because I don't want to be married to the game indefinitely. And then I take time out to like, you know, have that self-help day, you know, so I'll go to the best hotel and maybe order room service. I'll still get some work done, but I'm sleeping in, you know, the hotel bed, I'm eating. And those kind of things is almost like a mini vacation for me, so to recharge the battery. But I'll do things like that. What do you do? So maybe I can steal some of your ideas.
Ooh. I do a lot. I prioritize my time a lot. Because I have a janitorial company, I have a daycare center, and I do my podcasting, and I'm getting ready to open up a podcast studio.
Well,
so each day I make it prioritized for what I have to do that day. And I just break it down. So once I have certain days set on what I'm doing, I will pick a weekend and I will do a weekend trip. So a Saturday and Sunday, I may just get on the road and drive to Chicago or Detroit, something nearby, New York or whatever, and I would be there, even if it's a day. I fly there a day or drive there a day. I usually do that because I love nature. So long as I'm like getting my nature core in there, it rejuvenates me. So I just make sure I do that. And I don't answer my phone for everybody. I have having an iPhone, you could have your do not disturb, but you can have it on the focus on personal people.
Okay.
So I have people in there that I don't mind talking to when I know they're not gonna call me and ask me for something. So
guys, if she doesn't answer, you know, but you weren't in the little stuff.
Yes, I make sure I do that because, you know, being in business, a lot of people can ask you for things and they count your money. They do all types of things. And it could become a cruel environment. So I just make sure I just keep myself mellow. Because I'm a calm person. Like, I'm always like this. Like,
what's your son?
Leo.
Leo? Leo's not calm.
Oh, I'm very calm.
You calm? Okay.
Very.
All right.
Yes. It takes a lot for me to get, like, wired. I mean, a whole lot.
Okay.
But most of the time, I love communicating. Communicating gets you far.
Okay.
It does.
That's good. Going back to what you were saying about nature, changing the scenery is so big because even if it's nothing for an hour or a day or something, like you said, it rejuvenates you. And it's something about taking yourself out of your current situation and going someplace else. It's refreshing.
Yeah. Seriously, because you're going to a hotel, right? if you go into nature, you will become rejuvenated because it's a natural, earthy thing for us to do. And
Yeah, and I saw something that they were saying that we need to get our feet on the ground and stay grounded. And
yes,
all
that's
of
one
that.
of the things. Yes.
And I'm just thinking to myself, I haven't really put my feet in the grass since I don't know when, but they're saying that that is something that, you know, all of us we need to do. We need to just really connect to the earth and get our feet on the ground. It has health benefits. It helps our cells and things like that. So yeah, that's cool.
Yes, that's
I
important.
gotta do it.
Yes. So, have you ever failed in business?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. You know, it's a journey, right?
Yes.
So snippets, you know, as you travel along the way, you fail. Like, so for example, when I first started thinking about a restaurant, I was going to open a restaurant with, you know, you ever watch Married to Medicine?
Yes.
Okay, so Dr. G, it's a really good friend of mine. Went to school together, high school. And so we were going to open a restaurant together. So we went out there, we signed the lease, everything was good, and then something happened where they snatched the lease from us last minute. So that was a failed opportunity, and we kind of lost interest. In fact, he ended up going in a different direction and opening up another clinic, and you know, he's a very respected and I want to say highly awarded, you know, doctor. So he had other things to do, and I just said, you know what, let me try again. And I connected with some other people. Shout out to Tony and Joe. They're my partners who own Blue Lagoon with me, and we ended up opening Blue Lagoon. But the first effort was a fail, right? Because you know, we couldn't get it off the ground, even though there was the effort there. So, but it's part of the story, part of the journey, and I think the thing that, you know, that I take away from that is, if one door shuts, you know, another one will open. Don't stop.
Yes.
Don't stop. Yeah.
And that's very important. I'm not gonna say I like failure, but a lot of times when I do fail, I know once I get backed up, it's gonna be something amazing,
right?
Like
it's
amazing.
Always like that.
Yes.
Yeah, but most people, once they fall, they're like, oh, you know,
yeah, want to
they're
give
bruised
up.
up. They're like, I'm done.
No, it gave me more ammo.
Yeah, I
like
that.
ready to shoot her. Just keep going. So I know you're into film and everything, and it's funny because my best friend, she's into film a lot, and one of the production studios here in Atlanta. She's actually the one that dropped me off.
What's her name?
Charmaine, well, Kimberly. Yeah, Kimberly Epps.
Shout out to Kimberly Epps.
So I see that you have Waterboyz coming out soon?
Got Waterboyz, written and directed by Coke Daniels.
Okay.
It's coming out later this year. We've got Quality Control that's doing the music.
Okay.
We've got Quavo in it. We've got Lala in it. We've got Rockman Dunbar. We got Damani, T.I.'s son in it. We've got a lot of Keely, who is the lead. Keely, Don't Kill Me. And it's really a coming of age story about the kids who, like in Atlanta, there's like this whole movement with kids running up to
the water,
selling you water.
Yes.
Some are doing it the right way, and some are doing it the wrong way.
Right.
And it's going to chronicle the story of young kids who are turning into entrepreneurs and dealing with what's going on in the street.
You know, that's really good because a lot of people put out the negativity about children on how they go about things. But for you guys to create it as a film and it'd be a positive perspective from it, it'd be very motivating for other children to actually see it in a different perspective. So that's amazing that you guys turned it into
We're
a film.
excited. Yeah, we're excited about that one. Now, it's going to be one of the classics, so I can't wait for the world to see that one.
Yeah, I can't wait either. I love black film.
Yeah.
I don't care how low budget people will say it is or however, you got to look at the potential and the quality of it. You know, a lot of people, they may just be getting started, but they need the support for you to be able to keep going.
Yeah. Now, I did a movie this past Christmas that BET bought that it was called Sound of Christmas with Neil, Drea, Sanaya. Did you get a chance to see
I
that?
didn't see that one.
It's a good one.
Really? I'm gonna have to go see that.
Check out some of the other stuff that I did.
Okay, that is amazing. So tell me about Dating COVID.
Dating COVID is an upcoming movie that is really, really interesting. And I don't even want to give it away because the story is so unique. But COVID is the name of the gentleman. So
COVID is his name?
Is his name.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay. So
For
a lot
real.
of people think,
Yeah.
but it's really, really good.
You don't want to say.
I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give it away because imagine dating the perfect guy, right?
Uh-huh.
And
He turned into COVID.
no, he doesn't turn into COVID, but he. Okay, let me just give you a question. So you met a guy. He's perfect. He's everything you want to build. He's got the money. He's got the conversation. Everything is perfect. And then you guys are trying to, take it to the next level. And he says, well, hold on. I got something I got to tell you. Well, what if he told you he had HIV? And if he told you he had HIV, would you still be into him the way he could still protect himself, but he wanted to date you? These are real questions and real things.
That's a real life question.
Every day.
Yeah, it is.
Now, I'm not saying that that's what COVID is about, but I am saying watch the movie. You will not be disappointed. So these are questions we're going to challenge you.
Yeah, that is challenging though.
So would you be going or would you, just kind of...
We just gonna go and move on with our show
all
right now.
all right. Let's go.
So, what about the GOAT?
The GOAT is, think of American Idol for motivational speakers, right? So
Okay.
we take the best motivational speakers from around the country. They flew in, and we created a competition for them. And we had some mentors, some of the great orators here. We got Pastor Jamal Bryant to kind of coach some of these people. We got William Moore. We got some of notable orators, motivational speakers here in Atlanta, kind of coach them, and we identified a winner, and they get a cash prize, and it's really, really good. It's really, really good. Yeah, if you like the competition feel of American Idol, but instead of singing, you like to hear those inspiring words, and this is gonna be the show for you.
That's good.
Yep.
So it's filmed already.
It's already in the can.
Coming
Yeah,
out.
it's coming
When did
out.
it come out? Man?
It's gonna be coming out this quarter by the end of the month.
Wow, you've been working.
You gotta grind, yeah.
Goodness. So when you do movies and everything, do you implement your business in it? Do it end up being a film production space?
Some of them, like I shot a film that BET bought called Skiing Queens. It has a whole bunch of people. Ernestine is in there. B. Simone is in there. Jackie O is in there. A bunch of really Country Wayne is in there.
Okay.
We shot that at my restaurant, Blue Lagoon. And shout out to Cass Beatles who directed and wrote it. But we shot at Blue Lagoon. I think we also shot some of the scenes here as well. So to answer your question, yes, depending on the project, we try to get creative.
That's good. Yeah. That's very good. So with you having your hands into everything right now, where do you see yourself? I'm gonna give you 3 years. Mm-hmm. Like as far as like the area of goal that you want, because I know you say I'll give myself 10 years for this and 10 years for that. So what's your 3 year?
I mean, the 3 year, where I see myself in 3 years related to film, is having a strong hold on a platform that allows me to bring independent up and coming artists to have a home. Because right now we've got so many people who are creating content, and they're creating good content, but they might not have a name to it. They might not have a distribution deal, but it's just sitting on the shelf. Yeah. And if you go on, I don't care if you go on Hulu, you go on Amazon, you start to see the same stuff over and over again. there's so much more content, and you got to give people a vehicle to show it. So I hope in 3 years that I would have made my own contribution to allow some of those indie films to have a home.
That is so amazing, because that's my plan for what my podcast studio I have now.
Yeah.
Like, I live in Akron, so only thing people know of Akron is LeBron James. So with LeBron, his school is close to me. He has he almost got a whole street on lock right now with the things he's doing. So with my studio being downtown, I'm bringing a lot more attraction to it with me having my podcast studio there. And it's a musical, I don't want to say musical, but it's like a club beneath me.
Okay.
And it's more of like rock music and everything. And then it's a jazz band where they play jazz and everything. It's called Blue Jazz. It's next door to me. So everything surrounding me has something to do with music or film.
Okay.
So now whenever the guests come in, they get interviewed by me first, and then they want content. They can utilize my space for that as well. So it's a lot of potential there. I have a whole vision for it. I'm just pacing myself with it and make sure I connect with the right people to keep doing it. But it's needed a lot. Our times is changing for us to actually give people that type of space and motivation to do things. Because a lot of people, some people where I live, they don't want to go to always Cleveland. And then sometimes people from Cleveland wants to come my way too. So that's
I like that you have that approach. I think that in life, and I don't want to get too philosophical, but in life, you do good. The people who do good are people who are making ways for other people.
Yes.
Not necessarily self-serving. If you have a servant attitude, you always end up doing well. So taking the approach of, okay, how can I not only help myself, but help other people, you'll find out that the universe will conspire to help you get to where you want to go, because you're not just thinking about yourself.
Yes.
And I think that formula is so important, but people are in survival mode. People always think me. But if you let go and let God and say, hey, use me, I'm trying to help not only myself, but other people.
Yes.
You find out that you have the whole team behind you.
Definitely. That's where my blessings come from.
That's exactly. That's definitely where.
Yes, that's where a lot of my blessings come from. I'm like the root of my family, the root of my community. I had a youth program with 500 kids in my town, and I've done so much in the community, and it makes me feel good. That's therapy for me.
Yeah, it is.
And I love the outcomes that God gives me when I do serve people that are in need, or people that just need anything. It's really, it feels good.
Now, I'm gonna ask you something real quick. I'm gonna take over the interview here.
I see.
Because you've got your hand influencing some kids, and you're in Ohio. So who's the basketball GOAT? Who's the GOAT? Is it LeBron or is it MJ? I mean, what are you?
Who's the basketball GOAT?
Yeah, the greatest of all time.
Kobe.
Kobe.
I love Kobe.
Okay.
I'm an all the way Kobe fan. I love LeBron, though. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But as a player, I love Kobe.
Okay.
I
that's
do.
not bad.
I can't switch up.
Okay. You have Jordan though, so you love LeBron. Is Jordan in there in the conversation?
I mean, Jordan is in there.
Okay.
Jordan is in there too.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. But I could say what I do love about LeBron, I wish they expose it more, is a lot that he does.
Off the court.
Yes, he has apartments for his families at his school. He has a medical clinic he's opening. He has a space where people can have their weddings at, everything. He actually getting another apartment complex built for his families also.
Wow.
And he done basketball courts, and he's done a lot. It's just not out there like that. It seemed like they try to find something wrong, but it's so much right that he does. I wish it was just exposed more.
Well,
He
letting
good.
people know. That's good. I didn't know all of that. So
Yes. He's doing big stuff in Akron.
Okay.
It really is. He pours into him a lot, and it's a whole street of it. It's like a whole block, and then you turn, it's apartments, and then bigger apartments that's being built now. Probably it looks like it'll be about maybe 50 to 60 families in it.
Wow.
Probably.
Think about that, impacting like 50 families at one time. I mean, that's huge.
Yes, and a lot of people don't know, at his school, he has behavioral children in his school. So the kids that's was in the public schools, he's taking them out of the public school and giving them a service of people, they have IEPs, behavior issues, everything. He has what they call the worst of the worst, but he's literally changing these kids' lives.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kudos. King James.
Yes.
Yeah, not bad.
Yes. So I like that part of him. But player-wise, cool. Definitely. So, do you have any major projects or anything coming up besides the 2 movies?
I've got Killer B&B. If you're a fan of Zane, the author, Sex Chronicles back in the day.
Yes.
And she's doing films now, so we collabed. And we have a film coming out called Killer B&B. And it's going to be out later on this year. We're excited about that. Also, we have a film coming out with Tanisha, who is a comedian. And so what we did was we took all female comedians from all over the country, flew them in, stuck them in one house, put up a camera, and we let them compete to see who was the funniest. The winner got $10,000.
Okay.
And when I say you're going to laugh your head off, you're going to laugh your head off. So we've got that coming out. And then I've got some other projects that are coming out as well that we're really excited about. I Am John Gabbana. If you remember Boot Game, who was part of that whole early on in social media that was doing a whole bunch of pranks and all this and that.
Yeah.
But the young man found God. And now he's preaching the gospel, and I think he used to have 6 million followers, and now he shut down his account, changed his name to John Gabbana. I think 2 million followed him, but he's always preaching. He's always bringing a positive message now. And it's really a heartwarming story. Think unsung, but put instead of musical acts, you're talking about social media influencers.
Yeah.
It's just a really good story. And I did that with Jennifer Bassine and Uncle Reese.
Wow. So what I've noticed is a lot of movies that you've talked about, you've done, is you create like an impact. It's like you want to be impactful for the people that's watching it.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
You get
when you describe each one, it's like, okay, that's impactful. That's impactful.
It should move you, and that's how I decide on what projects I want to be a part of.
Yeah, I see.
Right? So if I would sit down and watch it, then I would, I'm like, I would go do it.
Yeah. So you like to make a difference and change and, help others.
Yeah. I think that's what we're here for. I mean, we're here to have fun. Grow ourselves, make sure we prosper, but we have a duty to, do the right thing and leave a good message. At least that's the way I was brought up.
Okay, so what good message do you have for us?
Man, the message today, guys, is do business the right way. Even if it's hard.
Man.
Even if it's hard, do business the right way. And an example of this would be if I'm doing a movie and I know I haven't gotten paid yet as the producer, but I know my cameraman hasn't gotten paid and the grip person hasn't gotten paid, I can write the checks. I can write my check first. But that's not doing good business.
No, you gotta pay
You
them.
pay everybody else first. And then you come back and pay yourself. And that's hard sometimes. If you have your own bills and you're like, man, I can write my check. But in your mind, you can't really be the boss if that's how you're looking at it. And that's just a small example. Doing the right thing, is in the confines of your own home and nobody's looking. Nobody can tell. I mean, I wouldn't be doing anything wrong if I'm writing the check to myself, but
Yeah.
I know that that's not the right thing. So we have to challenge ourselves to do the right thing even when no one is looking, because it's going to pay dividends. Because those same people now, if I call that grip person, he's going to be like, yo, D, I'm rocking with you.
Yeah, because they don't know you gonna pay.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's the loyalty and the communication as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So that's
what's up.
dope. That's dope. Well, I want to thank you for letting me record my podcast in here. You didn't know me or nothing. And I just hope you enjoy my stay.
I really did. It was really good, positive energy. I
Thank
love
you.
people with good energy, good people. So it's a blessing that you came through. You know, this is your home, so anytime.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Even though I've been nervous. I even missed my flight this morning.
Somebody said that. I ain't just saying it.
I missed my flight. I was knocked out. So I really appreciate you.
Wow.
It's hard to come by people that have the same heart as me. It's very, very hard. And you have to cherish those moments because you don't get them quite often.
I agree.
You don't, for sure. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Life Hurt Podcast. Again, Havana Lounge has sponsored Life Hurt tonight and this amazing gentleman. I appreciate y'all, and thanks.